Right below. Come on in. Hey guys, DFG here, Gideon's Flight. I want to take a moment and address some things in regards to uh, what's going on now with store closings. I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on what's happening with tariffs. And then I want to talk to you about some things you may want to be thinking about just in case a store closing happens to affect you or someone in your family, okay? But I'm going to begin this message with, I want to state something here because today I heard a lot of YouTube platforms, with the facilitator on those platforms, and I heard something that was kind of strange to me, and that was this whole thing around I want to be more positive. I want to be more positive. People want me to be more positive. And I much as I want to understand a positive message, this is my attitude about it. If there's a hell of a storm brewing and you're in the pathway of that storm, the last thing you need is for someone to tell you, be calm, don't worry about it, have faith, everything will be all right. Okay, you can ask some people who took that approach with Katrina down here in New Orleans, in the lower ninth ward where I am sitting today, who lost everything, and more importantly, 1,800 people lost their lives because somebody told them it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Just be positive. They may not have told them just be positive. They just said, hey, we've been through this before. And 1,800 people died because they did not react, did not respond, or the people in charge, including the mayor of the city at that time, gave mixed signals on the devastation that was coming their way. Here's my attitude about it. If you want to hear a positive message, you want to hear somebody, to tickle, and make you giggle and make you laugh and give you a warm fuzzy, then take your ass over to any one of these damn prophet churches. You know what I'm saying? These what they call these damn churches? These churches who want to this how do you know prosperity? Thank you, Yahweh. These prosperity preachers, and let them, preach you a little lullaby. But in the real world, where there are real issues and real shit happening, you need someone to tell you the truth. So I don't know where these guys are going. Maybe they're trying to get their viewer count up or their subscription count up, whatever they're doing. I'll tell you this much. One thing you can expect from me is honesty as best as I can tell it. Okay? And I'm not into fear tactics and scare you. Scare you for what? You don't pay me to scare you. You don't pay me at all. So there's no motivation. There's no incentive for me to pay you. And I'm not looking for you to contribute to me. Okay? And if I ever need something from bullshitting. But I'm not looking for that. What I'm looking is to be a voice in the wilderness, maybe, talking truth, at least speaking my truth and hoping that my truth will spark and motivate you to find your truth, okay? Now let's move on with that. All right, let me tell you something about what's going on in this retail industry. This stuff is getting real serious, guys. I was listening to a program the other day, and it was talking about this gentleman who had lost his job, and he was contemplating suicide. This is getting serious. When people lose their jobs, a lot of times they lose their identity, unfortunately, because most people identify themselves with their jobs. How many places you've gone, and the first question you ask, I'm talking about where there's networking, socializing going, the first question you get asked is what? What do you do for a living? And then you go to talk about how great your job is or what you do, etc. But in that awkward time where you're between jobs or you're unemployed, if your job is what defines you, you already know that you're going to avoid every social event you can avoid. And more importantly, you're going to probably turn inwardly on yourself. And there's a story where this guy was a logger. And he was talking about that. And I think he lived in Montana. And he said the logging business closed. So, so now he's depressed. He's dejected, contemplating suicide because he feels like he's nobody. And let me say this to you guys, and I want you to understand this clearly. Let me give you an analogy, a metaphor, okay? To me, your job and you are two different entities altogether. But there is some commonality. Your job complements who you are. But your job is no more who you are than icing is what a cake is. Okay? Think about a birthday cake. Yeah, a great tasting cake is delicious. A little icing makes it even better. Sets it off right. Your job is that little thing that makes it better, sets it off right. But at the end of the day, if you try to eat icing, your teeth gonna fall out. You're probably gonna end up with a diabetes and ultimately on medication if you don't die. You need the cake is the body of that dessert. You follow me? That's what you're looking for. I want some of this cake. You're the cake. Your personhood is the cake. Your job is the icing. But I understand in these kind of situations, it's hard to separate the two things, but you must. People are counting on you. And this guy should have just said, you know what, I'm going to pack up, I'm going to leave, Montana, and I'm going to go to Oregon. I'm sure there are trees out there, and I'll just be a log in Oregon instead of just falling into depression, you know what I'm saying, giving up, feeling hopeless, and feeling like he had to prove to somebody his net worth based off of what he did for a living. People who really give a damn about you don't give a damn about what you do for a living. The people who you need, the people who you should care about how they feel about you, don't give a damn about what you do for a living. And if you have people in your inner circle who only cares about you, who only want to affiliate or associate with you based off of what you do, you need to get rid of their ass right now. They're not your friends. Okay? There was another situation where a guy actually killed himself because he lost his job. Committed suicide. And he had a family and little children. And they interviewed one of his daughters. I think she was 12 years old. And they asked her, how do you feel about your father taking his life? She said, I'm mad at him because he promised me he would never leave me. He promised me that he would go to my high school dance with me, the father-daughter dance with me. He told me no matter what, he would always be there with me, for me. And now he's gone. And now I'm by myself. I'm all alone. Why? Because he lost his job. So what I'm saying to you guys is that this storm is coming. This retail storm is coming. Whether you want to believe it or don't want to believe it, it is coming. And when it comes, it's going to come as a tidal wave. So forget all that, tell me some good news. Just tell me the truth. If I want to be inspired or motivated, shit, I'll go to the movies and watch a comedy or go to a comedy show or, I don't know, turn on the damn Family Guy or American Dad or whatever hell you look at to get a laugh or a chuckle. But when real life is hitting you in the damn face, you don't need someone to pacify you. You need someone to be honest with you and tell you the truth. Okay? Now, looking at let's give you some numbers of what's coming real soon. Here's some things that are coming. Ford, if you're in the Detroit market, you already know about this. Ford is going to lay off 7,000 employees by August. 7,000. You already know about General Motors. We talked about that last year and what was coming. In addition to that, Dress Barnes is closing all 650 of their stores. And I think Antel is a part of that. CVS is going to be laying off individuals as well. Okay? And then, in addition to that, this year alone, I'm looking at my notes over here because I want to stay on track. I can kind of get broad. I want to keep it tight, neat for you, okay? But 2019, and this is May 21st, from January 1st to May 21st, there have been already this year 6,000 stores that have closed. 6,000. And we're not even at the halfway mark of the year yet. We're still at month number 5. And it's going to get worse, guys, based off of what the storm or the rumble that's out there, the thunder that we're hearing out there, it's going to get a lot worse, okay? Here's some other things. This tariff situation with China. That's not going to go over very well for us. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Once those containers that are already being shipped here, once those containers get into the stores, you'll still see some prices. Matter of fact, you may see them even lowering some prices just to kind of keep, everybody focused on, spending money. But once those containers are emptied and they've got to replenish, that's where you're going to see where that 25% tariff is going to kick up on that additional $200 billion. And I've already looked at companies like Walmart, Home Depot, Nordstrom's, Kohl's, JCPenney. You know what they say, how they're going to manage that? Some of them say they're just going to take and spread the prices all over. In other words, they're going to spread the cost through the whole price line. In other words, you're going to pay more money for the goods. Okay, that's their plan. Their plan is you're going to spend more money. They're not going to take the hit. That's what the retailers are saying. but they're going to just kind of give it to you nice and slow. You know what I'm saying? They're going to give it to you like Novocaine. You know, they shoot it in your mouth before they yank that teeth out and get you nice and numbed up, and then all of a sudden they're going to extract it. Because if your income isn't going up, or if you're out of work, the last thing you need is to be paying more money. I don't care how well they try to spread the cost across the board. My $5 is my $5, whether you spread it across the board or you don't, or you do nothing, I guess. But they're not going to do nothing because at the end of the day, you know, they're going to look at their bottom line. If that means laying you off, that means, you know, but through cutting off costs, closing down stores, that's what they're going to do, guys. I guarantee you that's what they're going to do. And not only that, what they're going to do, they're already talking about doing it. Okay? And then they're talking about 20,000. Right now, we're being told that we're over-stored right now in the United States by 20,000 stores. Over-stored. In other words, we have more stores than we have consumers to buy goods from those stores. So you think about that. If you do the math, 20,000 times the average number of employees in stores, you're going to understand why I mentioned that suicide information in the very beginning of this business. Some people are not going to take this very well. So you know it, and you may be one of them, or you may know somebody who's one of them. And if you're sitting on this side now, and you're not thinking strategy, you're not thinking planning, you're not thinking about how you're going to put your arms around those individuals in case they lose their job, to make sure you're not like this little girl whose dad thought the best solution for his family was to take his life. That was probably the worst thing. He just escalated the situation for them. I'm sure she much would have had her dad there to take her to the ballpark, drop her off at school, pick her up from school. You know what I'm saying? Just be there. I know, help wash the dishes, cook the meals, anything he could have done to continue to show his family that his value was beyond just his job. As I stated earlier, you should already know that. But in case you don't, now you're hearing it from me. And trust me, I know what I'm talking about. You are more valuable. And this is, now you might say, well, now you're being positive. No, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. That's it. Just being honest. You are more valuable than a job. That's true. But you need to be prepared for the worst case scenario, especially when you're hearing it everywhere you turn. You know, you got these politicians sitting here, you know, singing these, you know, be patriotic and be patient and giving us these warm fuzzies again, including Donald Trump. And they know they're full of crap. They know they're lying. They know exactly what's coming down the pipe. And the politicians and Trump, they have nothing to do with whether or not a store stays open or a store closes. They have no control over that. Zero. And they should never be misleading the general public as though they do. We're going to bring back jobs. What jobs? Then you got the AI situation. I'm not even going to get into that because that would take me another video to tell you about how automation is going to start hitting hard. We already see what's going on with Amazon and how it's affecting the retail industry. So don't listen to these liars. That's what they are. They're liars. Don't listen to them. Now I've got a minute and a little bit more to try to get through this list, and I'm going to go fast, so focus, okay? Stick with me here. Here's some things you need to be thinking about, all right? First of all, have a plan on what you will do in advance, okay? Here's some suggestions. Have a list of things that you don't need, things that you may have, luxuries. You know, wants versus needs. Get rid of those things. If you don't need them, get rid of them. In other words, if they're not the basic survival things that you need to be able to feed, protect, survive, start looking at, make a list of what can you chop off that list. The next thing here is, what are your resources? If in worst case scenario, if you lose your home, what's your plan? Back in the old time, we would just go move back in with family. Maybe you still have that kind of family. If you don't, start cultivating those kind of relationships and make sure it's reciprocal. If they lose, they come with us. If we lose, we go with them. Okay? Next thing here. What are your resources, including family? Okay, you may need to move back home if necessary. All right? Don't swallow your pride. Don't spend money on bullshit holidays and vacations, guys. And I can't say that anymore. You got Memorial Day coming up. And I've said this to you before, guys. In this kind of economy, again, it's like a major storm is coming, and you take an instead of you putting on the life vest, you just take the life vest and put them in the chest and say, well, if we start drowning, we'll get them then. It'll be much too late. Save your money, vacation another time, get things right, be prepared. It's coming up real, real fast. Thanks, guys.